Make a shield! Infect foot salt! Make a shield wall! Kill them all! Horsemen, apply for me! A charge! Everyone fire! Archer forward! Forward! Footbox, move! Archers, arch move! Arch moving! Forward! Forward! Cavalry forward! Cavalry dismount! Horsemen, mount horses! Move! Archer! Archer! Archer forward! Follow me! Form a line! Cavalry can move! Horsemen, come forward! Hold fire at will! Infantry, troops! Form a shield wall! Cavalry, follow me! Hold fire! Fire! Cavalry! Cavalry forward! Infantry forward! Cavalry! Move! Shoulder to shoulder! Move! Riders! Move! Form a horsemen! Move! Line formation! Horsemen! Form! Cavalry! Form a line! Cavalry! Loose formation! Horsemen, attack! Attack!